areas.
100%. I think, we were saying there's only 6 substitutes for this game, and I think, when you look at, being across those 4 major competitions now, you really do need that squad depth. I mean, that's why we see the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal do so well and progress into the latter stages of the competition, because they're able to have those rotations and they have that sort of depth on the bench. But with United, I do worry a little bit. There is a little bit of a concern that they haven't quite prepared for Championship life.
Well, it's tricky to compete, particularly if you go deep into the European competitions like Arsenal did last season and Chelsea have done in recent times as well, because it's in the time of the grind, in the springtime when the games mount up, that's when you need to have the players to bring into the squad, isn't it? Yeah,
for sure. I think the later stages you get into the competition, you obviously you pick up knocks and niggles and injuries along the way, and I think you need to have those replacement players, but those players have also built up experience throughout the season, not just left to the latter stages to kind of try and fit into the squad. So I think there's a mentality with Chelsea there, and I think there's loads of narratives about how deep the squad is and how many players they actually do have in the squad. They have been quite aggressive with their recruitment in these past few years. But with Man United, bringing in a few players this year, Rolfo, Zigliotti, I was expecting them to do more business in the transfer window for sure, to make sure that they did progress.
Well, Liverpool have 2 players down. We've already seen Lily Woodham, and Sam Kerr as well is also receiving treatment. So already players have been sent out to warm up. Well, Kerr is okay to come back onto the field.
I'm hoping Liverpool kind of take this short break as a little bit of a reset. It does feel like the game has been brought to them and they've not been completely best placed to kind of deal with the pressure that's come at them. So, yeah, I think it's just a case of settling down, kind of, getting your head back in the game and taking a moment. You can see there with the players, gathering around each other and kind of, giving themselves that pep talk to get back into things. It's still very early days, and 1-0 is still recoverable, of course.
Well, Lily Woodham, who came back into the team today, looks to be heading off. Ria Shimazu, the player who was preparing to come on, and there will be a change made very early on here for Liverpool. So after the concession of the early goal from Miyazawa, more disruption for Gareth Taylor. We are back underway. Borgraffer. And now Dominic Janssen, player who returned to the WSL from Wolfsburg, and Turland showing her mobility in the wide areas once again. Is by 2-0, and Tottenham are a goal up at Leicester. Vivian Miedemar with the opening goal for Manchester City. And the London City Lionesses have signed some big names, but it will take time to gel.
Yeah, it's been a massive recruitment period for Michelle Kang's side, really. Yeah, I mean, they've done absolute business in the transfer window. Obviously, some world record signings there. But at the same time, there's a massive expectation on the squad to go really far into the WSL, if not, mid-table. And some people have been sort of pipping them to make that Champions League spot as well, which I think might be a little bit too ambitious for a first season. Still a lot of time that they need to have to gel, to piece things together and to find a way forward and, really bed into life at a new club.
Well, they've just scored. Nikita Paris has pulled a goal back, so it's now 2-1 in that game. Nikita Paris scoring against her former club, and if they get her scoring on a regular basis, which in fairness she's done so far, that's a massive element of the sort of improvements they'll need to make.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really great start to life. You know, you want to get those first points on the board, which they absolutely have. You know, you want players to find their confidence and to find their shooting boots. I mean, the last thing you want sometimes, you do have strikers who come into new teams and they struggle to get that first goal, and it becomes a bit of a burden. But, you know, Nikita Parris is a cool, calm head. We've seen the same thing for her at Brighton in previous seasons. So I only anticipate that she's going to, you know, really progress as the season goes on.
And confirmation of that change, Lily Woodham replaced by Riza Shimazu, player on loan from Manchester City. And there will be a defensive reshuffle here for Liverpool as well. And here comes Shimazu onto the field. Now Letizier. Janssen. That's good running again. And United at the moment are finding spaces all over midfield. Mallard on the charge, but just held up after Zaghiotti with the initial incursion. Now Rolfo.
There's a lot of great sort of build-up play for Man United at the moment, sort of, you know, starting the ball in the midfield, and then sort of those balls over the top are super effective on the wide areas at the moment.
Mallard, Rolfo, and the cross just beyond Turland. It'll be recovered by Riviere. Letizier. Oh, it's an awkward one, but it's dealt with by Fisk.
Turland's so unlucky with that chance, just inches away from putting her head on that, and that inevitably going in the back of the net there. She would have been disappointed not to have jumped a little bit higher.
Well, 8 goals so far this season, but 7 of those have come in Europe. But Melvin Mallard with 4 goals already in the Women's Super League, and that matches her total from the whole of last season. Now Letizier, the midpoint of the first half, and United have been the dominant side here in so many departments. Mallard. She's used the ball well. Riviere. Opportunity to attack Shimazu, who has just come on. Zaghiotti, Toon, it's a dangerous cross. It took a flick off a Liverpool head, and it was Gemma Bonner, and she almost marked her milestone appearance with an own goal.
I mean, it was one of those ones that could have gone in. It was, yeah, a very close call there. But you saw there was 3 Man United players running into the box. It could have been any one of them that put that chance to bed there. But, you know, Jess Park just literally inches away from getting something on that one and creating that chance. But credit to Gemma Bonner there, that experience showing through and just tipping it just past the post there to clear out of danger.
Corner kick. Sorry, just say that again. Zaghiotti. Here is Park. And there was a yellow card for Cornelia Capox a few moments ago for showing dissent, kicking the ball away after the award of a free kick. Now Letizier. And at the moment, Liverpool are just hanging in there, no more than that really.
I think it's disappointing not to see more chances created by Liverpool. They just can't seem to get on the ball at the moment, and that's a credit to Man United. You know, they're being patient, they're creating that build-up play, they're passing the ball across the back, and I think just enjoying the game and settling into it. There's no need to rush. There's no need to. They can take their time with this one. Liverpool players don't seem to be able to get too close to the ball at the moment.
Well, United with 77% possession at the moment. Here is Riviere looking for Mallard, but Fisk doing well to cover. And there we are. Possession heavily in favour of Manchester United. And they've had 5 shots in the game. Only 1 on target, though, the goal from Miyazawa. And Liverpool have had 1 off target. And that was Riviere winning the ball back there from Capox. And that was the free kick, which was given, and then the yellow card resulting for Cornelia Capox.
I think there's definitely a frustration creeping in there. Capox is always going to have her hands full with Riviera on that side. I think, you know, the pace of Riviera is difficult to manage.
Miyazawa! Oh, she's hit the post this time. Well, she's not a regular goal scorer, but she's almost scored 2 spectacular ones here in the opening 25 minutes.
She's definitely got her shooting boots on today. I love the fact that she's taking those chances. You know, she's seeing that open goal, and you know that's twice now she's hit the post. One of them obviously going in, the second one just deflecting there off. But you know, I love the fact that she wants to take those opportunities and those moments, because that's how the first goal was created. So why not?
Well, a player who is in the team to basically try and make the more expansive talents tick is taking centre stage at the moment, as Letizier was caught there. It will be a free kick. A yellow card as well for Sophie Haug. 2nd one for Liverpool already. But Megan Wilson didn't really have too much choice when you crunch in like that.
I think, again, that goes to show the frustration that I mentioned earlier starting to creep in with Liverpool. They're not getting a lot of time on the ball. They want to try and win it back. I mean, that was a bit of a sloppy challenge from Roman Haag there. But, you know, I love the intensity, but it's just slightly misplaced on that one.
Well, Fallon Tullis-Joyce has had so little to do so far. Liverpool have had 1 touch inside the United penalty area. United have had 10 at the other end, and they'll be looking for more here. Park, Turland ahead of her, and she's in on goal, but it's over the top. She may just have been offside, but she should have still hit the target.
Such a great opportunity there, and you know, Jess Park driving forwards, creating those opportunities and moving those yards. But you know, with Turland, you know, with Liverpool, I think there's a disappointment there. You've got 3 or 4 players surrounding Turland. I mean, there's no way that she should have been able to pick up that ball and glide through as easily as she's done. But she'll be disappointed there not to have slotted that in the right corner rather than choosing power and sort of going over the bar. But again, another great opportunity for Man United.
Haug with the header in field, but United are quick to gather once again, and we're reaching the stage of this first half where I'm sure Mark Skinner would have believed that his team should have almost put this game to bed.
I think with that Turland chance and that Miyazawa deflection off the post, we could have been at least 3-0 up by this stage.
Well, the match stats are fairly ugly for Liverpool at the moment. Plenty of goals elsewhere as well. Tottenham now 2 goals up at Leicester, and Michelle Adjemang has scored the opening goal for Brighton at home to Everton. And the second Tottenham goal scored by Olivia Holt. And Liverpool, team that just need a break now at the moment in terms of something going their way. And Kerry Holland here was involved in the aerial duel with Dominic Janssen. Try and create something here. Although a drop ball has been given in the end. Half an hour played, and I think already Gareth Taylor will just be hoping his team can get to half-time, maybe with no further alarms. And if you look at the action areas, much of it's been in midfield, but so much of that has been with Manchester United on the ball.
They've been so dominant in midfield, and that's where they're creating those chances. I mean, they're quite happy to kind of, pass the ball amongst themselves and then sort of drive down the wings, as we're kind of seeing here with Riviera. I mean, she's been absolutely passionate. The aggression that she's shown on that side has been unbelievable. But again, Jess Park sort of picking up and doing the same thing. But Liverpool are just struggling to get on the ball, and they're just creating so much difficulty for them.
Mallard. Turler makes the run to the near post. It's beyond her. And Zigliotti with the header wide. Another clear-cut opportunity for Manchester United.
It's the same opportunity being created time and time again. They're sort of getting the ball on the wings, that cheeky ball just over the top there, and then the Liverpool defence just don't seem to be picking up those players as they're running in. I mean, 3 Man United players there to 2 of the Liverpool players, and they're just not tracking back enough.
Well, if there is an offside trap being played there, it's rather coming out in instalments, which is causing its own problems. But Liverpool have also got, in terms of positional play, defensive players at the moment who maybe aren't quite used to that, and that does create its own issues as well. Letizier. Now Janssen and Rolfo. So much international experience at the back for Manchester United today, and when you have a player like Rolfo playing as a fullback, it's almost a luxury, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was so excited to kind of see Rolfo into the WSL, and yeah, I think that was a great transfer move for Man United this summer. Really good experience that she brings over, and I think slightly unusual to kind of see her in that position, but she hasn't really been tested too much today. As it has been, like the stats are saying, sort of midfield and upwards, but yeah, I think in more challenging games we'll definitely see that side of her come out.
She's on the ball here, finding Toon. Now Mallard. Zigliotti was looking to arrive, but once again it's scrambled away. Sam Kerr this time. The Liverpool working very hard to stay afloat in this game. But it's still only 1-0. But it's a corner here for United. Their 6 previous wins against Liverpool in the Women's Super League have all come with a clean sheet. Zigliotti's corner. I just wonder if she was going for goal there.
So close. It's one of those ones that you don't really know whether it was a chance on goal or whether it was just a really well-placed free kick, goal kick. Sorry. Corner there. Mallard running in from the far post there, just very close to getting ahead on that, or getting a tap in. But again, it's sort of Man United just definitely on the front foot here.
Eight shots for Manchester United, but just the one on target, the goal, and that came in the 4th minute. But we've seen some glaring misses, really. And it's those runners from midfield that Liverpool just can't pick up.
Yeah, I think, I mean, this is a game that definitely Man United could be, it could be 3-4-0 at this stage. And I think they'll be disappointed not to have converted some of those more clear-cut chances. In other games where you're playing sort of better sides, perhaps, those are the kind of opportunities that you really can't be missing. But again, I love the tenacity. Man United definitely pushing for that second goal just before half-time. I think that's, you definitely want to go into half-time with that security and knowing that you're coming out to try and get that third in the second half. But they just don't seem to be able to put it to bed at the moment.
Miyazawa. Toon. Mallard was once again looking to just hold her run to stay onside, and in the end by Borgraffer. She gets it back now, making her debut in the Women's Super League today, having arrived from Freiburg in the Frauen Bundesliga. And as a former goalkeeper, it must take time to get used to playing with a new team and knowing the preferences of your defenders, if nothing else.
Yeah, I think there was obviously going to be some nervousness to the first WSL start. Obviously completed the move over to Liverpool in July 2025. So, not a lot of opportunity really for her to really bed into the squad. And, she did obviously have that opportunity with the Subway League Cup this week. But, she wasn't tested too much. 5-0, you're not going to get that much chance to really display and be challenged. But at the same time, what she's done today is fairly straightforward so far. There's not a lot she could have done about the Miyazawa goal. But it'll be interesting to see sort of how she matches up in this one.
10 minutes to play in what's been a fairly torrid first half for Liverpool so far. Nagano, she's lost out, and once again United are looking to move here with Turland, and it's on target, but a decent save made by Borgraffer this time.
Another great opportunity there for Turland, trying to get on the ball, trying to, make those quick moments. And you can see there the Liverpool players, really struggling to, stop that from happening. There was five players there behind the ball, and not one of them was able to put a block in. It's a good save from Borgraffer, fairly standard. But again, Turland's going to be quite disappointed not to have put another opportunity to bed.
Fisk will take the throw in. Player who played under Matt Beard with both Liverpool and West Ham United, having developed her career in the NCAA with Penn State and South Carolina. Now Riviere. She was with the of how much benefit players get from working in the US college system. Now Riviere again. Turland beyond the challenge, deep into the penalty area, and she was looking for Mallard at the far post, but she'd made the move in field.
Yeah, a really difficult opportunity there. I think she was trying to read where Mallard was going to be, and I think she thought she was going to be at the far post, but Mallard just held back there slightly, just maybe anticipating the cutback on that occasion. But she's back on the ball.
Mallard again this time, and it's wide, but the flag's up. And again, well, both Mallard and Turland were offside, but the shot was wayward, and this the opportunity for Turland. And so often you're expecting Mallard to be steaming in at the far post.
100%. It does feel like she's just dropped off there again, sort of anticipating that cut back and maybe a one-time finish, but just slightly on different pages on that opportunity there.
But United pressing hard for that second goal before half-time. Letizia. And it's into the goal scorer Miyazawa. Now Rolfo. Mallard's got pace. Bonner covering well and using all of her experience there. Well, she played in the first ever game in the Women's Super League for Chelsea against Arsenal. And she's still going strong at the heart of this Liverpool defence.
I mean, she's definitely had her work cut out for her with Mallard on that side. I mean, that's difficult competition to go against. Obviously, Mallard topping the WSL goal scoring table at the moment with 4 goals, and she's going to be keen to keep that position this season. But yeah, Bonner's doing as best as she can.
Short to Toon. Now the angle opened out for Zighiotti. Miyazawa. Riviere. It's lofted high and in the end gathered by Borgraffer, and it was Letizia on the end of that. But when you're crossing from a central area, it's difficult to really create any menace, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the ball was sort of so looping that it was difficult, like you said, to kind of get any force behind it. So yeah, an easy one for Borgraffer, but I'm sure she'll be tested in the next 5 or so minutes, and definitely into the second half.
Well, these two sides did meet in pre-season, and it took a last-minute goal from Ella Toon to rescue a 2-2 draw for Manchester United. But at the moment, the respective positions of the two clubs towards the top and towards the bottom. But I'm sure there'll be a frustration for Mark Skinner that his team aren't 2 or 3 goals up already, because they've created the opportunities. But as we saw in the game yesterday, Toon. Rolfo. Toon, in the end, will be penalised for that challenge. Also the Scottish title with Rangers, as Miyazawa finds Park, just trying to dink it through a forest of Liverpool legs, and it's been given away by Nagano. But Miyazawa, who came on for the injured Lily Woodham, it's all the way. And the rain falling heavily again. It's been a day of sunshine and showers in St Helens as Capox tries to play the ball in field. Sam Tierney has pulled a goal back for Leicester at home to Tottenham, but they trail 2-1. Nagano.
She did super well there to track back and cover that cross coming in. I think it's one of the few chances that Liverpool obviously had to kind of progress into the final third for them. But yeah, definitely cut out. It'll be interesting to see what they do with this corner now.
Well, it's an extremely rare Liverpool attack, but in the end it comes to nothing. And still only one touch inside the United penalty area for a Liverpool player. Shimazu. And all the way back to Borgraffer. High ball over the top. Talking to me there. So. Headed away by Janssen. It will be a Liverpool throw-in. Fisk looking for Haug. Does well to keep the ball alive. And there's an opportunity here in the deflection. Sends it against the post. And Liverpool, who have been up against it for the entire first half, almost come up with the equaliser on the stroke of half-time. And it really bears out what you were saying.
That was definitely the concern, that, you know, Man United have definitely had the majority and such a dominant performance there, but at the same time it just takes that one opportunity, and I've got to give a massive shout out to Fallon Tullis-Joyce. I mean, she's had very little to do all game, you know, 44 minutes pretty much doing nothing, no real saves to make there, and then tipping that ball onto the bar was absolutely incredible.
And now she will fist away. It was Kerry Holland who had the shot deflected towards goal initially. But now it's a free kick. And it was a rare off night for Fallon Tullis-Joyce at Anfield last season when Olivia Smith dominated Liverpool's 3-1 win. But she was being held down there by Sam Kerr as she went for that. Mallard. That's a nice turn away from Fisk. We are into added time at the end of the first half. Mallard. And the free kick given for the challenge on Holland.
I've been super impressed with Kerry Holland. She hasn't had much of the ball, but what she has done is trying to create those chances. She's been driving down the wing, but she's also, in terms of the work rate, tracking back, being a distraction for Mallard and trying to make life very difficult for her. So yeah, she's been up and down and definitely doing the most to try and make as many things as she can happen for Liverpool this half.
And it's been a real test of concentration for these Liverpool players as well to just try and maintain their levels. And we're into 3 added minutes, because when you don't have the ball, it can be a natural instinct to switch off at times, and that's what causes you problems. Definitely,
and I think Liverpool has obviously been chasing this game. Possession stats are super low for them this half, and they're going to be super disappointed with that. But
Turland wins it back here, and here's an opportunity for 2, and it's 2-0. And on the stroke of half-time, Manchester United doubled their lead. And that goal has been coming for some time. But moments after Liverpool almost equalised, Ella Toone gives the scoreline a more accurate reflection of the way this game has gone.
That's incredible link-up play there with Turland. Love the strength, love the fact that the body there off the ball, and then picking up with Ella Toone and showing that composure then to slot home. And I think that definitely is a reflection of the Man United that we've seen in this first half. I think they haven't put to bed those chances, and they have made things very difficult for them, and a little bit tense in those final few minutes there with that Liverpool chance that could have turned the game on their head. 1-1 is a very different score going into half-time than 2-0. So yeah, super happy for Ella Toone. That was a great chance and very well deserved.
And it was Kirsty McLean and Gemma Evans who contrived to give the ball away. And if you're Gareth Taylor, you'll be exasperated that they've conceded a goal which was, from Liverpool's point of view, highly avoidable, because they had the ball.
100%. That came again sort of at that possession. I mean, Liverpool can't seem to keep hold of the ball for more than about 30 seconds at a time, but that does go to show, Manchester United, every time they lose the ball, they're willing to track back, they're willing to recover it, they have that doggedness and determination to pick the ball back up again. And from that chance there, you've got Turland bodying off players to try and drive that ball in, and you've really got to give them credit this half.
Mallard onto Park, no flag. Toone among those in support. Park, though, able to continue. Toone will scamper, but unable to keep that ball in play. The second goal of the season. And if you give her opportunities like that, she is always going to punish you. And Turland, who has done a very good job so far as the backup striker, or the support striker, with another assist. And that is half-time. Goals at either end of the first half for Manchester United. An absolute screamer from Hinata Miyazawa. And Ella Toone with the second on the stroke of half-time. United in control, half-time, Liverpool 0, Manchester United 2.
Not convincing from Arsenal. Delivery in from Wilms. Breaks and it's...
It's a poor goal to concede, though, you have to say. What a finish to this game. Incredible.
And a lot of centre-backs now start the attack. I love being on the ball and finding solutions of breaking down teams. A lot of the game's evolving in that way, but I'm really enjoying it, and obviously I hope the game keeps going that way because it's, I think, one of the strengths of mine. I love it. I love Liverpool as a city. It's like a huge honour, such a community family feel based around the city and the football club. So to be a part of that feels really special. Enjoying my life outside of the football pitch, enjoy it on the football pitch, and seems to be going all right so far.
Palms are sweating.
Hey guys,
This is Ask a Baller.
So I'll start. The question is, I've moved to a new city. Any tips for helping me make friends?
Oh, well, this is good because this was me too. Do you know what I actually did? When I moved to Munich, I decided I can't just have football friends. I need to branch out there and make new friends. So I actually joined a Facebook group that was making friends in Munich, and there was different people there.
This is actually kind of funny because I feel like this is my life. Let's just say sometimes it takes people a little longer than others.
You were like a hermit.
So don't stay in your flat.
You were studying a lot, that was your excuse. But when you were ready to flourish, you put yourself out there.
How do I impress my date who's really into football?
Who's really into football?
Yeah. I think that you should take a ball to your local park and you should 1v1.
So that you play for Brighton.
Semi? Ooh. Well, make sure they're worth impressing. Don't just impress to impress. If you actually like this person, okay, then cool. But figure out what their favorite team is, their favorite players, do a little following, a little social media, glancing. Nope, glancing, not stalking, just peeking.
How do I choose what I want to be when I grow up?
I don't even know what I want to be when I grow up yet after playing football.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing now is just trying a little bit of everything.
Yeah, finding what you like's the most difficult thing first.
I'm an Arsenal fan. My girlfriend supports Chelsea. How do we stay true to our clubs and keep the peace at home?
I think a good rivalry in a relationship is fun. I love it.
Okay.
I thrive in that.
Maybe don't talk about your club at home then, because probably you will argue then.
True.
So I would say, if you're just home, be with your partner. Just be nice to each other. Don't talk about Arsenal, don't talk about Chelsea.
Yeah.
And if you go to Arsenal or Chelsea, then you go with your friends and then you can talk about it all day.
What if Arsenal are playing Chelsea?
Just sit separate. Don't be next to each other.
Second half
welcome
is
back.
on the way next.
Manchester United get the second half underway, leading Liverpool by 2-0. And at the moment, they are heading top of the Women's Super League table, with Chelsea facing West Ham later on today. And this United team have only conceded once in their opening 3 games, and Liverpool need 2 here to have any hope of taking anything. There's Toon. He's just run off the ball by Fisk, and it will be a goal kick, and Chloe Morgan is alongside me for the second half, and the scoreline really suggests that United have been in control, and Liverpool have made another change with Maya Enderby coming on, the former Sheffield United player who has signed a new contract. But it took United a long time to get that second goal, and there may have been concerns, and Liverpool almost got the equaliser.
They left it so late in the day, and I think it was such a risk for United not betting those earlier chances and sort of putting some distance and some light between themselves and Liverpool. But, you know, that Liverpool chance just before half-time, that could have completely changed the game. You know, going into half-time 1-1 would have been a completely different battle for them to come out with. But, you know, Man United did power through. They got that late chance, and I think that has kind of settled them a little bit. And you can see just from these early already they're sort of dominating things, you know, creating chances.
And it was Sophie Haug who went off, was booked in the first half, to be replaced by Maya Enderby, 20 years of age, England under-23 international. Tough game to come into as a forward player.
Isn't it just? She's not going to get that many opportunities, but you know, there is that passion. You see this with the youngsters, you know, with the likes of Michelle Adjiman, Jess Park, you know, Grace Clinton. I mean, there's a ferocity to, you know, the mentality that these youngsters do have. They want to come in, they want to make an immediate impact, and then they want to prove themselves, and they do have that composure. And I think that goes to, you know, a lot of what we are seeing sort of behind the scenes in the setup and the mentality that the coaches are providing to create this atmosphere for them to go on and do amazing things.
And Liverpool forced into an early change with Lily Woodham going off injured and Ria Shimazu coming on in the fullback area, and Enderby here. And while it is a difficult situation in many ways, she has nothing to lose as an individual, and it's all about trying to impress the manager and maybe get more starts. Of course, United with only 6 players on the bench today, but plenty of quality out on the field. Fridolina Rolfo playing as a fullback in the absence of Anna Sandberg. Céline Bizet is also on the bench, and that was to accommodate another forward player in many ways, Elizabeth Turland, alongside Melvin Mallard. And it was Turland who, with her tenacity, made that second goal for Ella Toon, as Liverpool try and build now, and increasingly we're seeing them be more direct and maybe just try and stretch that United defence.
Yeah, we're starting to see a couple of balls there go over the top on the right-hand side, and I think it's going to be interesting because that's going to be, you know, the real test for Rolfo. But she does have that speed, she does have that game management, she has that experience. So I think I'm relatively confident about Rolfo in this position, and you know, managing to keep up with the attacks on this side.
Well, a player with league titles in Sweden, Germany and Spain, and also 2 UEFA Women's Champions Leagues. And that's the sort of experience United need heading into this season. Fisk with the throw-in, but a foul throw, and United will get the ball straight back. And that's a bit of a waste. Liverpool have now conceded 2 goals in 5 successive home games. And they haven't lost 5 home games in a row for 3 years. And the only previous occasion they lost their opening 3 games in the Women's Super League was in the 2019-20 season, and they ended up being relegated. Long way to go, of course. Enderby. And Fisk. Just beaten to it by Mallard, but Liverpool will have the throw-in. Gareth Taylor at another big-name club, but maybe the resources available to him here don't quite match what was available to him at Manchester City.
Yeah, I think Taylor's going to struggle a little bit. I think he's not going to have the same depth and quality of players that Man City had. But you know, there's a resilience there that I think Liverpool have. You know, we've seen them bounce back from the Championship and get back into the WSL, and you know, really make a mark for themselves back in the WSL. You know, we've seen them mid-table and sort of creeping up there as well. But you know, that's it's a difficult challenge for Gareth Taylor, definitely a different one for Man City, but he hasn't quite managed to get the best out of the players so far. But it is still very, very early days, and you know, like we were saying there about Mia Enderby and sort of the newer players and the younger players that are coming up, it's a real opportunity for them to make their mark and kind of, you know, show Gareth what they're about.
Well, 8 signings, including 2 loans, but of course the big hole in the team was the one left by Olivia Smith. It was a record fee to head to Arsenal, but as we saw in the game between these two clubs at Anfield last season, she has the ability just to take the game away from the opposition. Riviere with the cross here, but it's behind for a goal kick. And Liverpool, since their promotion, finishing 7th, 4th and 7th. And when you finish 4th, that just raises the expectations, doesn't it?
I think it's that when you're so close to that Champions League spot, I think the expectation, remains high. And I think, going into the next season after that, people expect that Liverpool will be delivering the same kind of result. But that's not always the case. Progress in the WSL and getting up to those top 4 and top 3 sides takes time. And you're not always going to have that consistency straight off the bat. But, you mentioned obviously Olivia Smith going to Arsenal. That's going to be a massive challenge for Liverpool trying to fill that gap. But they do have quality. Kerry Holland, one of the OGs, one of the more experienced heads there. She's creating chances still this half of the season, and Roman Hawke as well, again, incredible there, and it's going to be amazing to see her step into her stride.
Bonner, who has joined Jordan Nobbs and Millie Bright in the 200 club in the Women's Super League today. Kerr, and now Evans and Shimazu, who is really having to fill in as the left back. When it doesn't quite come off there, the ball striking McLean, and here is Toon. And Giotti quickly sweeping the ball forward, and Turlin was almost in, and it was a brilliant challenge from Bonner to deny it. And then hit out by Borgraffer, and she was slightly fortunate there.
Another incredible sliding challenge there from Gemma Bonner, and it just goes to show that experience. And she's going to want to make her mark on her 200th game. It's obviously a very meaningful one for her. But she read the ball. She knew exactly where Turlin was going to be. She had an eye.
Borgraffer going longer this time. Won by Riviere. Toon. And United were looking for a free kick, but nothing given. And here's an opportunity on the counter-attack for Holland. Now she will try and break into the penalty area, delivers that cross in, and the clearance is sent back over the top, and it was an opportunity for McLean.
Unfortunate there for McLean. I mean, you're not going to get those opportunities much, and they haven't really had that in the first half. So, yeah, she's going to be disappointed. I mean, skying that one over the bar. She had a little bit of time there to kind of put through the ball, but she lofted it, and it's you can see the disappointment there on her face.
Well, Kirsty McLean, one of the new signings from Rangers, and that was the opportunity for her first goal in the Women's Super League. Fisk bringing down Mallard. It will be a free kick for United. And Alvin Mallard scored in the 4-0 victory against Liverpool at home last season, as did Dominic Janssen, who works the free kick wide to Letizier. Riviere, Park. And then the big boot from Letizier. It'll be recovered by Borgraffer.
It's good to see Liverpool putting a little bit more pressure on Man United. They are starting to drive forward a little bit, and putting Man United on the back foot, enough for them to clear the ball out like they did. But I think it's just the consistency. You kind of see bursts of Liverpool doing this, and they drop off. And again, now you're starting to see Man United creep back into the game. So I think it's just Liverpool having to get that foothold. But I don't really feel that they've managed to do that this game at all.
And does that consistency come from confidence?
100%. I think, when you look at Liverpool and how they've started the season, that the confidence necessarily isn't there, and they might have picked a little bit about that back up when they had the Sunderland League Cup game, but they were very much expected to win that. And, Sunderland in the Women's Championship, it is a slightly different gravy, but coming into this game, they knew that it was going to be a tough challenge. But I haven't really seen Liverpool feel like they are going to dominate, that they're going to create chances. They've not been able to get a foothold at all.
Mallard. Now Letizier, Park. Good football again from United. Park's got space to take on Shimazu. But the cross, a disappointment in the end, with 3 black shirts waiting in the centre.
Difficult to see what Jess Park was trying to do there. I think she sort of put her laces through the ball rather than dink it over the top. And I think, you know, the keeper in the position which she is, and there was a couple of Man United players on the far post there that they could have just knocked that one in for a header. But difficult choice. But Jess Park has been really spicy on that right hand side.
Well, Mark Skinner signed a new contract until 2027 at the end of last season. Of course, a new challenge for him and his team in the league phase of the UEFA Women's Champions League. But 4th, 2nd, 5th and 3rd under him. And of course they had the disappointment in the league, rather offset by the victory in the FA Cup final. And he was able to build on that last season as Riviere is taken down. And there'll be a word from Megan Wilson. Capox, who is on a yellow card, just needs to be careful. And it was a similar sort of challenge which got her the booking in the first half.
That was a bit of a risk there for Capox already on that yellow. I mean, that's one that a referee could have easily given either way. So I think she's been very fortunate there. And yeah, but I think it just goes again to show that kind of frustration that's creeping in, having to manage Riviere and that pace that she's got on that side.
Janssen. Rolfu, but good challenge again from Holland, and she was unlucky in the end. Kerry Holland, who had her development in the US with the Kansas Jayhawks, of course a Welsh international as well, and one of the players who was promoted with Liverpool under Matt Beard in 2022. Gemma Bonner was playing against Liverpool when they were winning titles, and of course became part of that title winning success in the early days of the Women's Super League. Liverpool will be making a change shortly as Capox does well to turn away from Riviere, and Enderby does well to find her again. Capox, the only player to score for Liverpool in the Women's Super League so far, but just overrunning it.
That was unfortunate there to run out of that pitch space, and Riviera doing well to track back and try and negate that threat there. But a lot more positive from Liverpool. You know, trying to go down those wings and trying to exploit the kind of spaces on the right and the left hand sides.
Jenna Clark is coming on. The Scottish international signed from Glasgow City. She started the previous game. And it's Gemma Evans who has gone off. But nearly an hour played, and it's felt like a more even contest in the second half, but United have still created all of the opportunities.
Definitely more balance there. I think it's been positive that Liverpool have trying to creep into the game a little bit more, sort of trying to pounce on the overload when it's at the back.
But here is Toon, and she had Borgraffer scrambling, but it's wide.
Great effort there from Toon. I was really impressed to see her look up, see the keeper off her line, not incredibly set, and just trying to take that opportunity. But yeah, unfortunately there, it looks like the keeper actually got a hand to it.
And it was McLean who gave the ball away. Borgraffer with the distance this time, and the flick on will create the opportunity here for Capox, and it's wide. Riviere got to it just in time, but that was the chance for Liverpool to get back in the game.
Capox has got to be disappointed with that one. She had the ball. It was one-on-one situation. I think Riviere looked like she'd switched off a little bit there, not appreciated that Capox was flying in. But yeah, she should have taken that shot a lot sooner, and it just allowed Riviere to come across, kind of put her off, and create that incredibly important challenge.
I think she was looking for a penalty, Capox, but it's an optimistic call and maybe one born of disappointment. Rolfu. Toon closed down there by Nagano, but Jade Riviere with a tackle that had to be well timed, and of course she's on a yellow card as well. Although in that sort of situation, if she'd fouled her, I don't think that would have mattered. She'd have gone anyway. Letizier, she was beaten in the air in the build-up to that opportunity, which is a rarity. Zigiotti. Tullis-Joyce has the time to work the ball out. Rolfo. And Toon holding off the challenge of Nagano, but United here moving the ball around very sweetly at times. Riviere. Zigiotti was offering short, but here is Letizier again. Riviere's not been picked up. Zigiotti. Toon is found by Shimizu. And here is Mallard. Turlin making the late run into the penalty area. Almost taken down by Zigiotti, but swept away by Shimizu.
There's definitely a patience in the Man United build-up there. You can see how tight-knit the four defenders are on the Liverpool side, and you know Man United are exploiting that space out on the right and the left-hand side there.
Here is Riviere again. And it's a short week for United. They have Chelsea coming up on Friday. But Mark Skinner did give his team an extra day off this week without the midweek game. Of course, due to their European commitments, they'll come into the League Cup at a later stage. But he was setting his team the challenge to basically use that day off as motivation today, and they seem to have done that.
There's definitely a freshness to the Man United side. Yeah, the legs look fresh, they look full of energy, and it looks like they're sort of really intent on getting this third goal to really put the game to bed. Liverpool on the other side, it does feel a little bit flat. It still feels like they're struggling to get hold of the ball. You know, going for large periods without the ball isn't great, because you're just expending energy trying to run and get that back, and I think it's just leading to more disappointment, more frustration, and I think Liverpool just need to get that foothold.
Well, their possession just under 36%. They're yet to have a shot on target, although they did see a shot deflected onto the post in the first half. Fisk. And Rolfo penalised there for the challenge on Holland. Quickly taken free kick. Enderby, though, winning the ball back from Janssen, having initially gone to ground, but Liverpool can now build with Kerr. And there could be an overload on their left-hand side. Capox, Shimizu. Nagano does well to win it back. Fisk barged off the ball by Turland and fouled, and it's a free kick to Liverpool.
I think that was a bit of a soft foul there. I think, you know, Turland obviously used their bodies to try and get to win the ball back, but, you know, impressive from Liverpool trying this quick start to see if that could have more of an impact.
And that cross was hanging there from Holland, but over the top in the end. Tullis-Joyce was able to wave it by. Not sure she was going for goal.
It felt like a little bit of a fluky chance for that one to have gone in, but worth a shot. I mean, the sun's in Tullis-Joyce's eyes at the moment, so you never know with those ones.
Rolfo. But United again clear the ball away very comfortably. Here is Toon. This is the sort of game that United have often stumbled in recent years, which has really cost them in the title challenge. Of course, when they've been really good, they've tended to lose to Chelsea, but Liverpool certainly have had the better of them in recent years. But Turland there has been flagged offside. But there are more and more games now in the Women's Super League that I wouldn't say you can't take for granted, but games that should be tougher.
Yeah, I think, you know, you see the emergence of sides like Aston Villa, you know, Liverpool's up there, West Ham last season were all, you know, labelled the disruptors, essentially. You didn't know, you know, you'd go into those games, you know, a couple of seasons ago and think, you know, the top 4 teams are probably going to pick up the points. But we have seen the emergence of those squads, you know, in the middle set of the table. You know, create those opportunities to kind of get those points and create those unexpected results. But at the moment, Liverpool kind of falling short of their disruptor status. But again, it's super early in the league, and I think they're just finding their feet. You know, new manager, a couple of new signings, and I think this is there's still a long way to go.
Jed Riviere making her way off. Mallard just held up by Fisk. And Selin Bizet coming on. The Norwegian international has scored this season in the Champions League qualifiers. And again, we talk about maybe a lack of depth for United, but they can still bring players of her quality on from the bench. Tizier rather diving in there, and here is Enderby. Shimazu. 3 wait for the cross, but it's deep in the end. But Mallard knew that Fisk was in the vicinity.
Been really impressed with Enderby coming on. I feel like she's added a different dimension to the game there. You know, she's been on the left, she's been on the right-hand side, and she's sort of, you know, creating a lot of problems for Man United at the moment. But again, it's promising that they're kind of creating these opportunities and getting the ball into the box. But again, no one was there at the back post to kind of capitalise on that.
Mallard able to clear, but in the end she was just caught by Bonner. Both ended up off the field. And it will be a free kick, in fact a throw into United in the end. You talk about Liverpool maybe losing their disruptor status. I suppose the challenge for Gareth Taylor is to make them contenders, not just disruptors.
Yeah, I think it comes down to that consistency, I think, with the mid-table pack. You know, like you said, you've had the 7th result, you've had the 4th result, you had the 7th back again. And I think, you know, Liverpool have had a very up and down, you know, fair few years where they've, you know, gone into the Championship, come back up into the WSL. So I think, you know, you want to get to a point where you're, you know, regularly contending for a Champions League spot. But I think there is also something in building consistency, you know, hitting, you know, 5th and 6th consistently for a couple of seasons and then building from there, you know. It doesn't happen overnight, getting into those positions. And, you know, Man United, I think, have probably been quite fortunate that since they started in 2018, sort of, you know, straight into the WSL in that first year, getting that promotion and then building their way up. And now, you know, second time they've been into the Champions League. So, but, you know, the first season getting into the Champions League didn't go that well for them. This year it did. So there's always small wins that you make. And yeah, Liverpool are yet to kind of find themselves, you know, consistently sort of achieving on that level as they were in their heyday.
United have put themselves into positions to be potential champions in a number of seasons and never quite made it, as it's all the way back to Tallis Joyce. Kerr looking to put the pressure on. And eventually Letizier is able to clear. As we tick towards the final 20 minutes. Now Nagano. Capox. Bizet fresh to the game and comes away with the ball there, but then runs into McLean. Clever change of direction from her into Enderby. Now Kerr, but Miyazawa able to break things up. Toon. Here is Rolfo. And Mallard just unable to gather. Manchester City now leading by 3-1 against the London City Lionesses. Bunny Shaw with a penalty. Miedemar and Blinkhilde Brown with the other goals today. And Nikita Paris on the mark for the Lionesses. Spurs still leading 2-1 at Leicester. Brighton a goal up on Everton, with Chelsea at West Ham later on. Tallis-Joyce opting to go longer this time. Mallard winning the header, but only directing it to a red shirt. But here is Miyazawa.
There are definitely a couple of opportunities there that I'm seeing Liverpool starting to things that Man United are doing in this game. You know, when it's going back to the defenders and back to Fallon Tallis-Joyce, you are seeing on occasion now Liverpool are starting to push numbers forward and trying to create those overloads and create that pressure for Man United, which means they're going long. But then, you know, it goes back to Fallon Tallis-Joyce on a second occasion, and we don't see them doing that. So I think, again, it kind of comes back to that consistency and Liverpool doing the right thing on one occasion, but not really following through with tactics that are working.
Enderby. The problem is, if Enderby is receiving the ball there, who's in the middle?
Exactly that. It doesn't create those kind of opportunities for her to get into the spaces that we know that she can cause the most impact. And, you know, we are starting to see players creep up a little bit more. There has definitely been more play in the Man United final third, which has been promising.
It's cleared away and then helped on by Fisk.
Yeah, I did say that earlier, but I'll reiterate it.
And Liverpool do have a free kick here.
Oh, excellent. If you got one, let me know when it's there.
Kerry Holland over the free kick. And the goal now could give us a dramatic finish, because as we saw towards the end of the first half, Liverpool inches away from an equalising goal. And while United have dominated so many facets of this game, and 2-0 looks a comfortable lead, 2-1 would make it a very different story. Holland over the free kick here, and it was flicked on by a Liverpool head, but in the end I think Jenna Clark just took the ball away from her teammates coming in behind her.
You can see the exasperation there from Kerry Holland. She'd obviously tried something, trying to, you know, pinpoint, you know, one of the tallest players in the squad to get that flick on for potentially the ball to be picked up in the second phase. But at the same time, it probably just wasn't the right choice. You could have had bodies sort of running into there, sort of creating a little bit more chaos for the Man United players to deal with, and Fallon Tallis-Joyce too. But yeah, a lot of disappointment there. It was a great opportunity in a really impactful area, but again, it feels squandered.
Mallard. She has Fisk backpedaling, but she just gets a boot in. But here is Toon. Letizier. Zigiotti. That cross cut out by Clark. Now Letizier again. And United generally have been unruffled defensively. And they look to finish things off here. Zigiotti. Park. There was space for the shot, but it's blocked by Nagano. She seemed to feel that, but she remained on her feet. Now Holland. Clark again, always full of industry.
You know, the work rate there from Jess Park, obviously taking the stride. She couldn't really see a wall through. There was, you know, a sea of red bodies there that they weren't able to pick through. But Jess Park taking that strike, it didn't go to plan. Obviously got the block in, but again, as soon as the ball is lost to the Reds, you can see Jess Park there struggling to, excelling in trying to get that back and recovering the ball for Man United. The work rate is it's unmatched at the moment.
Rolfo. And again, Toon with a really stealthy turn to just try and change the point of the attack. Bizet. Letizier, and it's Toon making that run, just curving it behind Bonner, but the Liverpool defender was equal to it. Shimazu. And at a time in the game when Liverpool really need to try and up the pressure, they do look a rather tired side at the moment.
Yeah, you can tell there, sort of last 15 minutes of the game, that the game has got a little bit flatter. You know, Man United in the dominant position there, but it only does take that one goal back from Liverpool, one opportunity, and the game is turned on its head, and it becomes a slightly more stressful affair for them. But it'll be interesting to see what happens now with Mallard coming off.
Yeah, Mallard makes way for Gabby George. And as a former Everton player, she'll be enjoying this. Player, of course, who came back well after an ACL 2 seasons ago. Janssen. Sigliotti. Of course, Liverpool share this stadium with the St Helens Rugby League Club. They had a dramatic comeback in their Super League playoff game at Leeds on Friday night. An unlikely victory, and if Liverpool take anything from this game, it would be similarly improbable at this stage. Good turn from Bizet. Park. Now George. Toon. Rolfo, that's excellent running, but the cross again goes behind. And I think the quality of the crossing is the one area of the game you can really criticise Manchester United for today.
Yeah, you expect some of the passes to be a little bit more pinpoint. I mean, they know where the players are going to be. You normally have 3 or 4 players from the Man United end kind of running into those positions, you know, centrally at the far and at the back post, and you kind of you're not really seeing that impactfulness in the crosses. And Man United have been known for creating so many chances in that way, but there is definitely a lesser intensity, I think, in this half of Man United, and they went full throttle in that first half. So you can kind of anticipate last 15 minutes that, you know, they're not able to sustain that in that much. But saying that, here we go into another chance.
Bizet into Turland, and the flag's up, and it was too close to Borgraffer. Selim Bizet has taken a more advanced role now in midfield. Oh, and it was a tight call. Bonham maybe just stayed in, but the shot anyway was straight at the goalkeeper.
That did look onside to me.
Fisk. And George bringing down Holland. But United often tend to start a season well. It was 4 seasons in a row now that they were unbeaten in their opening 3 games. And it's going to be 3 wins and a draw. And of course, that draw came against Arsenal. And they play Chelsea next, so there will be an opportunity there to really establish themselves at the top of the table. Big game coming up on Friday. As Letizia is penalised, but Liverpool don't have to go back because the free kick was taken too quickly.
Well, you can see Skinner gesticulating there and not looking particularly happy about what he was discussing there with his coach. But at the same time, I think, you know, I do see Man United kind of choosing this Route 1 football.
But here is Enderby. It's a great opportunity, but the save is made by Thomas Joyce. And maybe that was the chance. Well, there was no flag. She just curved her run to stay onside, but Fallon Tullis-Joyce looks an imposing goalkeeper in that sort of situation.
That's a great reaction save. She's not got long to think about what's going to happen next. And I think for Enderby, she's absolutely going to be disappointed. She could have placed that a little bit better to really test Fallon Tullis-Joyce. But I think that's what we were saying there about Mark Skinner not being particularly happy with Man United at the moment. I think, you know, they've missed so many opportunities that now another goal from Liverpool does create a very risky situation for them, creeping back into the game.
Well, Capox and Enderby have had those chances, and they've not been taken. And goal scoring, in the WSL at least, is an issue for Liverpool at the moment. One early goal from Capox on the opening night and nothing since, including a match against Leicester when they were up against 10 players for a large part of that game and still lost. George. Jansen's got time. When she's been called upon, Fallon Tullis-Joyce has done her job. 13 clean sheets last season. And she's heading for her third in 4 games at the start of the new campaign.
Well, you can see now how impactful Fallon Tullis-Joyce has been. I mean, like you said, they're not really had little to do in the game, not really been challenged and tested, but when she has been called upon in those moments, she does some absolutely outstanding saves. And, you know, Mark Skinner's always said, you know, she's on trajectory to be one of the best in the world, and, you know, I don't have any doubt about that at all at this stage.
And she replaced a living legend, and that's never easy, Mary Earps.
Massive gloves to fill, incredibly big gloves to fill, but at the same time she's done that and more. I think, you know, there's always going to be a nervousness when you're stepping into a position like that. You know, Mary Earps done such an outstanding job with Man United, taking them through, you know, from the Championship and into the WSL, and you know, creating those big historic moments for them, getting into the Champions League for the first time, and some of the FA Cups as well. So yeah, it's a big one, but she's more than, and you know, she's so confident, she's so capable, and she's so cool and calm under pressure. So yeah, we've really seen her develop and grow in the WSL, and it's exciting to see how well she's doing.
Enderby. And it's a United throw in the end. Tissier's 70th consecutive start for Manchester United at the moment is ending with a clean sheet. And this will be a 56th win in 92 games for Mark Skinner, which is really consistent. 5 goals away from 200 for Manchester United, or they've scored under his managership. But for Gareth Taylor, who we saw there, at the moment it's a rebuilding job, and he'll be doing it from the wrong end of the Women's Super League table. Capox though, and the cross right through the 6-yard area. Holland will keep the ball in play. Nagano, and Nagano shot, and it was Shimizu, or rather Miyazawa, who was in the way. Half-hearted appeals for a penalty there as McLean went down, but mainly from the crowd.
2 really, really good chances now for Liverpool in the space of 5 minutes, and it shows them starting to creep back into the game. And I think this is the fear with Man United, where they've not converted those chances previously. It's starting to come back and haunt them slightly.
It's driven in by Shimizu. It will be a throw-in. And Liverpool enjoying a good spell at the moment. And Elizabeth Turland will now be withdrawn. An assist for her. The second goal scored by Ella Toon. And Rachel Williams, the Women's Super League perennial, will come on. Played in the first season, and she's still going. It'll be one of 2 changes. Jess Park also heading off as well.
I've got to say, Rachel Williams is one of my favourite players in the WSL. I mean, in terms of the impact that she made in relation to the amount of minutes that she's had, it's been incredible. And I think, you know, we've seen Mark Skinner rely so many times on Rachel Williams coming on in the last 5, 6, 7 minutes and working wonders and kind of creating those last-minute opportunities and getting that 96-minute winner. So it'll be interesting to see what she can do with this game.
Lisa Nalstund has also come on as well, the Norwegian international. But Rachel Williams, now 37 years of age, And it's a tribute to her dedication and her fitness that she's still playing for a top club like Manchester United, even at a later stage in the game. But even being around the dressing room when they've got big games coming up this season in all the competitions, just talking to the players, that's invaluable, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, Rachel Williams does bring that experience. She's been in and around the WSL now for decades, and I think, you know, she's someone who definitely has a big personality. She'll be speaking to the players and kind of, you know, helping those youngsters as they come in, and, you know, given the breadth of her experience across those decades, she, you know, has been there, seen it, done it all. She's won competitions. She's, you know, she's had such an impact for a number of clubs that she's played with. But yeah, the Man United dressing room seems like it's in good spirits. The team is super gelling, and, you know, there seems like a positivity in the club, you know, despite some of the wider narratives that are happening around the infrastructure and the ownership.
Here is Toon. Williams pulling away to the right. Bizet ahead of her. Clark winning it back. Capox. Shimazu back to Borgraffer. We are into the 88th minute. And Letizier just stepping in before Enderby. Gareth Taylor will be, I'm sure, looking for positives in this Liverpool performance. And after conceding such an early goal, they certainly didn't cave in, but you wonder how much of that was down to United's finishing.
Yeah, this definitely could have been a more high-scoring game, and you look at the chances that the Man United have created and missed. It could have been easily around 4-0 in the first half, but then you look at the chances that Liverpool have created in this half, and it could have been a draw at this stage, and it's disappointing to not see more of that.
Letizier. And now Bizet. Letizier has found Toon, but it's very tight, and we can see that Liverpool high line. So the runs will need to be well timed in the closing stages. Nalsund, and now Bizet. Miyazawa, maybe a contender for goal of the season. Very early on here, but Liverpool have it back now. But Miyazawa breaks things up again. Williams back to Nalsund.
It's frustrating to kind of see that sloppiness from Liverpool when they do, you know, they work so hard to get that ball back, and then as soon as they do, it feels like it just goes straight back to Man United again. It's just through those sloppy passes, sort of not looking up, maybe some tiredness starting to creep in now as well. But, you know, if they were going to cause an impact on this game, I think we are now severely running out of time.
The offside flag raised against Bizet. The early ball forward, seeking out Rachel Williams, but gathered by Borgraffer. Williams without a goal in the Women's Super League since March of 2024. She did have a long-running sequence of scoring in every season, but that's now gone. Holland. It's a decent cross in. Enderby's shot, though, was blocked. And Clark winning it back from Williams.
That was great positioning there from Dominic Janssen. I think she could see what Enderby was going to do, try and tip it around the corner and just beat Fallon Tallis-Joyce at that near post. But yeah, a really pivotal and vital block there. And we're going into the last 3 minutes of the game.
Another penalty for Bunny Shaw, her second. Now 4-1 to Manchester City against the London City Lionesses. We're into a minimum of 3 added minutes here. And that's the opening goal, which Miyazawa will want to see again and again. Never deviated a centimetre.
That's an unbelievable strike, and you can see there sort of how much it is to her. I mean, that's one you never forget.
Fisk. Here is Holland. Had hold of George's shirt, but play continues. Enderby. No real room for the cross. And in the end, she forces Holland to scamper back. Clark. Shimazu. Capox. Quickly closed down by Zigliotti. So both of the Manchester clubs heading for victories. Spurs still leading 2-1 at Leicester, and Brighton a goal up on Everton. With Chelsea playing West Ham away from home later on. Zigliotti hammering the ball to safety. There are 2 balls on the field, so Liverpool will have to reset. But the United fans on that far side will be very satisfied with what they've seen. Williams. Miyazawa. And on the whole, they have been very comfortable, haven't they? Liverpool have had their moments, but they've been fairly sporadic.
Yeah, I don't think Liverpool have really created that much pressure on Man United or at least for a consistent period of time during the game. And like you said, they've had a couple of clear-cut chances that they've missed, but there's never really felt like there's any fear from Man United that they could creep back into the game in a really substantial way. But you know, United now are coming to the final seconds of the game, and I think they're quite happy just to run down the clock and finish on that 2-0 score. Maybe a slight disappointment that they weren't able to pick up more goals.
Miyazawa has been awarded the player of the match. Of course, she hit the post with another pile driver in the first half as well. Her work in the defensive midfield, which is her day job, because she's broken everything up as well.
Yeah, she's been a really impactful player. I think, again, the work of, creating chances up front, but then dropping back and providing that defensive support. And, another player that I really think has made a massive impact is Turland. She's been in the right places at the right time. I think she's just been a millimetre, a couple of inches off of some of the chances or the balls that have been thrown into the box. But, yeah, it's been a good day for United all round.
Victory for Mark Skinner's team. 10 points out of 12 to start the new season. Hinata Miyazawa with that memorable opening goal in the 4th minute. Ella Toon with the second on the stroke of half-time, made by Elizabeth Turland. And in reality, United should have won the game more comfortably. Liverpool have their issues early season, but United heading to the top. Liverpool 0, Manchester United 2.